What is up, guys? It's yours with the most, JP, here on the JP and Trav show tonight. To my right, I have my esteemed co-host and brother, Travis J. Davison. Travis, how are we feeling tonight, man?
I mean, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. Feel like we're just getting started, though. Just getting started putting that power line together, man. So excited. Um, Todd Bates, haters in shambles, just like I said on the Sooners in 60. Got a big guest coming up later tonight, which I couldn't be more excited about. We've actually got a pretty saucy guest lineup here the rest of summer. So you guys are going to want to like, subscribe, all the things. I think we're at 480 Twitter followers. Got to pump that up to 500. We get those are rookie numbers. We got to get those numbers up. So, um, but yeah, how about you,
Man, I'm
birthday
feeling
boy,
I'm feeling great.
belated birthday boy?
Thank you. Yeah,
Everybody
birthday.
in the chat, make sure and reiterate a happy birthday to um, our brother, our friend, Mr. JP. So I know my mom says happy birthday too. She commented, sent me, I think, my own tweet or something like that. So about you. So she says happy birthday.
Thank you, Mama Sue. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm 27, feeling good. Just got off a cruise. Was in the Dominican Republic. Grabbed me a couple of these bad boys while I was down there. Feeling good. But yeah, Trav. I mean, there's nothing sweeter than, and I tweeted this out the other day. You guys know this. Anybody who's been with JP and Trav show the last few years, we get called sunshine pumpers. That's the moniker, right? Because not because we actually are and we just blindly support every little thing, but it's because we like to have context. It's because we don't just like to blindly freak out and be negative about everything, right? Um, and so when Todd Bates is getting slandered and people are saying he can't recruit anymore, and we're saying you guys one need to give him a full cycle and let him get rolling, and two, like just trust us. Things are going to start to pick up here. It's so nice to feel vindicated when you get a win. Like Jaden Jackson is a huge win, not only because he's almost directly connected to David Stone, which you could say was a foregone conclusion or is a foregone conclusion. You could say that, but they play together. They want to play together in college. Um, there's that, but look at the programs, right? That's why I said to you guys, don't let anybody tell you that because some programs or notifications, excuse me, rank him a 3-star. Don't let them pull that on you. Because do you know who was going after him? Ohio State, Texas, right? Florida, Miami. Those are big boy schools, and to go head to head and to pull this off a couple of days ago it was all Texas. So this is is a massive win, and we're just going to continue to see this trend. Trust and believe. So it's a great Thursday. We're going to have the first guy that rolled that out, Wyatt Gilmore, on here in just a little bit. He's going to pop on with us at about 9:30. So make sure you guys stay in here, stay tuned, get everybody in here so that when he gets here, it's all packed and we're ready to roll. But yeah, Trav, man, that's where I'm at, brother. Life is good.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's with the sunshine pumping moniker, if you will. I look at it this way: when given the option, I will choose happiness and choose joy every time.
Mm,
People, people's happiness is not caused by actions. It's caused by your reaction to those actions. So you can change your outlook on things and stay calm and stay positive. Because guess what? If I pump sunshine for a month and say, hey, look, I think everything's going to work out fine, and it doesn't work out fine, was I happier that one month? or was I not? I sure was happier that 1 month. So, anyways, I'm an optimist, and moves like today, moves like that will be coming up the rest of the next couple of weeks and beyond are the reason for optimism, because Todd Bates, you can say that we've upped our NIL game with this recruitment. I think that's what a lot of schools are saying. The internet is still grappling with our financial situation at OU. We're Broklahoma, but we're bagging kids over Miami.
Yeah.
What? We're out bagging Ruiz? Come on now. So it's one of those where, first of all, Miami don't want to see us anymore. And Brent Venables threw a little shade at Miami in the press conference today, and we'll get into that. But I'll tell you what, just go through targets that we beat Miami out for. I mean, James Nesta, Miami, it was Miami, North Carolina, and Oklahoma for his services. We won out that battle. Devon Mitchell, right? It was Miami, Alabama, Oklahoma. Jaden Jackson, it was Miami, Ohio State, Texas, Florida, as you said. I'll tell you what, you line us up from Miami, who's known as one of the big NIL schools, and we are taking them to the woodshed lately. So with that, you kind of, you start to look at, we're spending a little more money. Cool. But I think that means that Brent Venables is fully bought into his culture. He's ready to pull the trigger. And I guarantee you, Todd Bates and him had a conversation, probably because of the Boomer Doomers. I won't lie. Todd Bates was seeing his name slandered for a calendar year. Still people are slandering his name. That is a man with a proud reputation, a proven track record, and it's got to be tough to have all these strangers on the internet calling for your job because you didn't land David Hicks, because David Hicks told you he was coming, and then 30 minutes, before the announcement, he said he wasn't. And he put all of his eggs in that basket. But I guarantee you, he said, look, Brent, you've seen me laying big time guys, but have you seen the movie Air?
Yes.
Okay. So for those of you that haven't seen it, I don't think I'm spoiling it by any means, because it's something that happened. So like it happened in the 80s. So I don't think you can spoil something that is part of history. But at one point, Sonny Vaccaro goes to Phil Knight when he's talking about, hey, we either got to be in this basketball, thing or not. He said, hey, I need more money. He said, simple as that. I need to be able to make this offer because that's the offer that everybody else is making. And if we want to be part of this, we got to be part of this. I think Todd Bates might have had a conversation with Brent Venables and maybe even Joe C. and said, look, if we want to be in the big boy defensive line business, then I'm gonna need some. Dad's gonna need some walking around money. You know what I mean? So, anyways, obviously a switch has been flipped in Norman, Oklahoma, and man, what a great day you had. Nigel Smith tweet Boomer and then answer himself in another separate tweet that says Sooner.
Friend of the show,
Nigel Smith. Zena Mozulu responded to him with a Sooner. You see Caden Durham tweeting. You see Taylor tweeting. You see, David Stone is giving his Brahms order in the comments of the live. He's saying we want Jaden. The vibes were immaculate today. And, it's unfortunate because even the message boards you hear today, or you saw it yesterday, was, nothing's the case until we see sign on the dotted line. Ask David Hicks. Mr. Hicks would have something to say about all that. Like, guys, we got to stop judging every recruitment by David Hicks. We have to. Or actually, you know what? You don't have to. I will not judge it, and I will be much happier. If you want to judge every recruitment by David Hicks, you're going to not be quite as happy. Again, I will choose joy. I will choose happiness. So
And to be honest, they need to keep the same energy because that's what they be doing. So when we lose out on a recruit, they'll say, "Ah, here we go again, another commit." Keep the same energy. That commit's not over until it's on the dotted line, i.e. Peyton Bowen. So like keep the same energy. If you're gonna be so upset about somebody else committing somewhere else, then you need to be that okay or that ecstatic, if you will, about us getting a big time commit. Jaden Jackson, whoever is gonna fall in line. Yes, obviously we know that it's the dotted line that gets signed at the end of the day. But by and large, with what we're doing, which is similar to a Clemson model, you're going to have guys that are going to for sure sign because they are locked in. They're not taking any more official visits. That's the goal. That's why there's that process. So, yeah, man, it's super exciting to see it finally take off. We had the doom and gloomers in here, and we've been fighting. I've been fighting on Twitter. We fought in here on the JP and Trash Show a couple weeks ago about Bill beating Bo, which I'm sure now people's attention will focus on him because of this cycle. But regardless, man, it's a fun time to be a Sooner, and man, we're just gonna hope that translates on the field. Again, for those of you who are just joining us, four-star defensive lineman Jaden Jackson commits to OU over Ohio State, Texas, and Miami. All who wanted him. Don't let anybody tell you that they didn't. They all wanted him, especially Texas and Miami. Got him. He's in the fold. He's part of this power line. And if you see on our clip or our thumbnail, excuse me, you'll see that photo. Wyatt Gilmore was the first, and he'll be joining us here in about 15 or so minutes. We're going to hear from him, but now it's an updated graphic, and you got Jaden Jackson as well on the end, and you have a plethora of other potential silhouettes to be filled in, hopefully here in the next few months. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about this season in terms of today was a Big 12 Media Days, right? What did we like about what we heard from Brent Venables, from Danny Sussmans, Jonah Lualu, Drake Stoops, Dylan Gabriel, who were the captains that were in attendance? Yeah, and in the comments section, you guys go ahead and put what you liked about some of the things you heard from those boys today. But Trav, I'll start with you, man. Let's start with the head ball coach. What did you like about what BV had to say today?
Probably what I liked most was his favorite term. And when I say it, the whole chat will know what I'm talking about. But he used one term over and over and over: competitive depth. Competitive depth. I think that's what was most important today, because he talked about developing that competitive depth. Second year in the system, mattering so much. Second year with Smitty mattering so much. I mean, dudes are still putting on a ton of weight that were on the team last year. I mean, Jordan Kelly's up above 300 pounds. Isaiah Coe's like 315 or something like that. Like, they keep on adding weight and weight and weight. Yeah, TJ Brent seemed more sure of himself. Absolutely. Seemed more confident. And he kept on warning us. If we remember last year, he kept on warning us, man, this is a whole new team. It's a whole new team. We're going to get in there and we're going to work. It's going to get in there and work. But this year, completely different tune. He's talking about competitive depth. He's talking about Smitty. He talked about Danny Stutzman a lot. One of my favorite phrases, because Danny was catching some flack, and rightfully so at times. But he was catching some flack, and he said last year Danny couldn't have run a player-led workout, practice, whatnot. He said he can do that now, and other people can do it. That's the thing. Brent wants this team to be player-led. That's why he loves Dylan Gabriel so much, because he can really lead the entire offense, run a practice, everything like that. Danny does that and understands the importance of it, and has guys like Billy Bowman in his ear. How competitive that guy is. Even young guys like a Peyton Bowen type, super competitive guys. I know Rob Jennings is definitely like that. Key's very vocal. But when you think of that, that's a major difference. Last year we struggled in fourth quarters because we didn't have competitive depth, and now you look at the edge position. I mean, my goodness, the edge position we're deep on deep there. You got Rondell Bothroyd and Trace Ford coming in. Our defensive line group would have been better if we didn't even add them. It would have been better with guys like R. Mason Thomas and PJ Adebawore kind of being your speed guys, maybe your Ethan Downs being your run. I mean, Reggie Grimes being your run support guys. I mean, Marcus Stripling. Hopefully this is the year that he unleashes that immense talent that he has. And then you go out and you add Trace Ford. I talked to Rondell Bothroyd. He said Trace Ford's the fastest defensive end I've ever seen. Like, he gets to the quarterback faster than anybody I've ever seen. This is coming from a guy who was second returning or first returning in win rate amongst all defensive ends. I mean, we're going to have depth, competitive depth. And what he said basically to, guys like Andrew Rame, guys like Danny Stutzman, guys like Key Lawrence, I'm going to bring in guys to be competitive with you at your position. You might think you got the starting job, but I'm going to bring in Reggie Pearson, Key. I'm going to bring in Connor Neer, Danny. It's when you the best way you can send a signal to some of those more senior guys is go get somebody that can take their job. With if they start balling out. So couldn't be more excited about Brent's attitude, his talk about competitive depth, and he had a smile extra big today because he knew what was happening at 4:00.
Oh yeah,
it always helps. You always have a better time on the podium if you got a Jaden Jackson announcing later that day. Ooh. What about you?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And I'll reiterate what TJ said a little bit here with just how comfortable Brent seemed and he felt. I think that was definitely something that you have to look at and probably feel good about. And I just like how transparent Brent is. I mean, he's very open. He was basically saying, last year, especially at the linebacker position, right? Let's just talk about that for a little bit. He only had 3 guys that he felt like could actually play.
And he said one should have been playing defensive end.
Which we know that's David Ugwebu, right? So you got Danny Deshaun basically and David Ugwebu that he felt like could actually play a position at that point. And that's no, shot to Jaren Kanak or anybody else, Shane Whittier. They just, again, most of them are young, especially Jaren, right? He wasn't ready. He's got talent, but he just wasn't ready to play a position. He hadn't played really before. So now like you said, you add in Connor Neer, you add in another year obviously with Danny. You add in Deshaun McCullough, right? He's talked about 2 All-Americans and Connor Neer and Deshaun McCullough. You add in a Samuel Shamigo, a Lewis Carter, a Phil Picciotti, excuse me, like a Kip Lewis. I mean, that right there in and of itself is insane depth. And you're going to see that across a lot of positions. I mean, I was talking with my uncle, Trav, you remember my uncle Byron. And for those of you who've been around, that's, my uncle we've had on here a couple of times. He's been a scout for years and years. We were talking earlier today, and we were just like, he just said, like, Jaden, do you remember how rough our safety room was a couple years ago? I was like, yeah. And he was like, think about the safety room now. And I was like, yeah, no, I mean, straight up. Like, think about the guys we have in that room. Billy Bowman, Peyton Bowen, Reggie Pearson, Key Lawrence, right? Kai Vickers. I mean, Damon Harmon. Like, there's just so much depth at every position, and so you're going to see that show up. I want to shout out Dylan Gabriel. I felt like he seemed so much more, and not that he wasn't per se last year poised. I mean, he just he's always well spoken, but there's just something different about him. I feel like he just seems so much more comfortable. He honestly, he kind of felt like a politician to me in a good way, though. Like just the way he was conducting himself, the way he was carrying himself, and he looks good. He looks very good.
Well, I
Um,
mean, Grayson told us, when we talked about physical transformations, the first person Grayson mentioned was Dylan Gabriel, which was shocking to me, but was awesome at the same time.
yeah, absolutely. TJ brings up a good point. That Brent touched on 12 months of grace that they kind of instituted last year of like, hey, the big three of, your grades, obviously what you do on the football field and off the football field, like those three things matter. And if you go over three, then we're just gonna have you find somewhere else. He's like, I didn't do it like Dion. I didn't just come in here and kick everybody out. I said, hey, we're gonna have a year where we figure this thing out, and to the tune of 21 guys, scholarship players that are no longer here. That's what you see. And you have 40 new scholarship players. I think 63 total is what he said, including walk-ons and things like of that nature. And you got, a plethora of guys that are going to be suiting up for the first time, and or this will be their first year, or excuse me, second year only with the program and as a whole. So it's just crazy to think about the new faces we'll see. And again, the Sooner Nation is great. You guys know that you've always rallied around new players. All they got to do is get on their own field grass and make some plays. Next thing you know, they could be sitting in Sooner lore. So definitely looking forward to seeing what that looks like. Just throwing up some things in the chat that we see here, just in terms of what everybody saw from today. No, there's a couple things I thought I saw. Okay. Jesse James said, I like how he addressed some of his faults last year, like not playing the young guys more. Just seems like he really evaluated himself so he can be better.
Yeah, what's interesting about that, and I think now is obviously the time for some reflection for his first year as head coach. I think he'd take a lot of things back. I think he'd take kind of the time management, managing the coordinators a little bit better, perhaps. But I think it's easy to say after you go 6-7 that you should have played the young guys more. But the reason that, like, I think that he would have played it more had he known he was just going to go 6-7. So go ahead and just let them go out there and make the mistakes. It's no big deal. But every game was so close. I mean, if half those games go our way that we lost by one score, I mean, if a little bit over half, then we're 9-3. At that point, does he say he wish he would have played the young guys more? Because we were right there, and I think he's telling himself, man, my older guys, they get us within three points. Am I going to throw that out, or are we just going to fix these little things? Stop getting touchdowns get called back by penalty. Stop missing field goals. The things that held us back in games weren't necessarily that we needed to play the young guys more. But when you're going to go 6-7, sure, play the young guys more. But we were always right on that edge, man. We were a top 5 team through week 3. Top 5. Like Colin Coward, the biggest hater that we have, had us as the number 2 team in the country when he had Joel Klatt on. Like, for him to go from that to within a couple games say, well, I got to play young guys more, I just don't think that you can make that decision. I think he made the right decision, honestly, by not doing it. And I think he's mainly saying that to say, like, look, I wish it would have been easier to do that. We'd be further along now if I would have. I think he's speaking in more of a current development, mindset, because he said, like TJ said, hindsight's 2020. You can say that after you went 6-7 that you should have done something differently. But would we have gone 5-8? Because I don't know that automatically we just would have been, 9-3 had we played all the young guys. Who knows? But yeah, interesting point by him though, and I am glad that he's he understands it and is recognizing his growing pains.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, guys, as we said before, and as you see in our title, four-star edge Wyatt Gilmore, who committed to the Sooners out of Minnesota just a few weeks ago, slated to join us here. We're about to bring him on here in just a second. So again, just make sure you like this video. We're trying to get it out to a bunch of people. Share it right now as we're in this transition period, so people can get in here so they can talk to Wyatt, get to know him, get your questions ready. Remember, hold them to the end till I say, so that I don't have to come back up. You guys know how the drill works. But without further ado, I want to bring on the young man Wyatt Gilmore. Wyatt, how you doing, man?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Man,
Great.
We're great.
Sounds good. Hey, sorry about being a little late. I was at my friend's cabin, and we just had like probably the worst storm all year so far. His grandma wasn't letting us leave, and she finally let us go. So, guys, good, but we're here.
Got to respect the grandma. First of all, thank you so much for coming on. Big day, obviously, for your position group. The defensive line, obviously, more defensive end. You know, I'm calling the whole thing the defensive line for this conversation. I love that you're Minnesotan and you said that you were at the cabin. That's always nice. The Travis Skull, as you know, I'm from Minnesota as well. I got family in Plymouth. Not far away. So I actually was born in St. Louis Park. So my mother is now in the chat. She's excited to have a Minnesotan on here. But super excited. Great to have you on. Give us your first reaction whenever you knew he would be part of the class, because this kind of turned late. Give us your first reaction. Have you spoke with him at all since then? Were you just happy to get on Twitter and tweet it out?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on. I appreciate this a lot. But yeah, so I mean, yesterday morning I saw that he followed me on Twitter, and then I'm like, all right, because I knew he was gonna like commit sometime soon. I saw he followed me on Twitter, and then I looked through his following, and I saw a couple other Oklahoma guys, and I saw Oklahoma football. I'm like, all right, yep, I already know.
Nice. You got to JP. You got to talk to him about the photo.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about this power line photo, man. You kind of got that ball rolling when you committed, and first of all, it's a dope photo, just a dope concept. And so, talk to us a little bit about, the rest of those silhouettes. Obviously we know you're not going to give out too much info, but how excited should Sooner fans be about the class that you guys may be able to have in your position group specifically?
Yeah, everyone should be pretty exciting. Like Coach Bates, he is really good with analogies, and he comes up with a lot of stuff. He's brilliant, and he actually came up with the power line idea. And I think it's brilliant, honestly. And just know, as Sooner fans, there's a lot coming. You should be excited. I'm excited. The guys I get to play with, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so is specifically about the photo. So you're the first one that tweets it out, right?
Yep.
And you've got the picture of you, and then all the silhouettes, right? And of course, all of OU Twitter specifically, puts on their Sherlock hat, and they say, okay, I'm now going to try and figure out who all these silhouettes are. And we've got some people that have figured out a lot of them, at least who the silhouettes are. So is it now like? So now Jaden Jackson filled his in and tweeted it out. So now is that kind of the evolution of the photo? Every time somebody in that picture commits, are they going to fill themselves in and then tweet it out themselves? And then by the end of it, whoever's last to commit will tweet the last one, or maybe Todd Bates tweets the last one out and is like, look at my army of monsters, or something. Like, what's the creative plan for that?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure if like the silhouettes are like actually like the guys are not. Like, I'm not sure if Jaden, if he had like a silhouette on there, he just filled it. Did he like fill one? He actually filled it?
Yep. It was him.
Because I didn't make the edit, obviously. I can't do that. Yeah, I'm not too sure, but it's definitely exciting for sure. It's gonna be awesome.
So, but the edit. So, did somebody send that to you? With you already filled in and just said, "Hey, you can go ahead and tweet this out."
Yeah, me and Coach Bates talked about it.
Okay. So, okay, perfect. So, was Bates your lead or was Chavis?
Chavis, that I love that man. He's just such a great dude, and he's a football junkie. I'm a football junkie. It's just perfect. He's my guy.
That's awesome. Yeah, Coach Davis is a fan favorite. People love his energy,
Yeah.
his excitement, and like you said, man, he's a man of faith. Very, very, just great dude, like you said. So my question for you, I always try to get this background on the kids we have on here. What's Tell us a little bit about football for you. How did it start out? When did you decide that it was going to be a passion of yours, and maybe when did you know, that you could potentially take it to the next level?
Yeah. So as early as I can remember, I just remember playing catch with my dad in the backyard, and that's where it all started. And I wanted to be like him because he played college football, and it's just as long as I can remember, it's a dream to play in the NFL. And as I grew older, it got bigger and bigger, and I started to shine a little bit. And it's always like in your mind, like even as a little kid going through middle school, like I wanna play Division I ball somewhere, and it's like in high school. I mean, I had full faith in myself, and it worked out.
Very nice. I like that. What are your measurables right now?
Yeah, so I'm about a little over 6'4", 250.
6'4", 250. It's what we like to hear. Is big human. That's good. Good
So
work.
Now, talk to me a little bit about you know my home state. It doesn't get the love that some of these other states do. Talk to me a little bit about how high school football recruiting is in Minnesota. Do you think it's underrated? I mean, you guys are playing in cold weather games. Got to be tough. There's no doubt about that. Like, talk to me a little bit about kind of if Minnesota's a little bit slept on, how maybe you got your name out there, if you were kind of heavy on the outreach stuff, if that's something a coach did, or if Chavis was just up late one night and looking for diamonds in the rough all over the country.
yeah, so I mean, I definitely think Minnesota kids are like 100% slept on. Like even with the ratings and stuff, we're slept on. But yeah. So you asked how like Oklahoma started talking about me and started knowing about me. So I remember in German class, and I got a follow from Coach Venables and Coach Chavis. So I'm like, all right, Oklahoma. Checked them out, did a little research, and then didn't hear anything for like weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks. Didn't hear anything. Then all of a sudden, he just starts spamming me on Twitter. Just sending me his number, says FaceTime me. So in the middle of 6 hour, I just go out in the hallway, FaceTime him. First time meeting the guy, I just loved his energy straight off the bat. It was awesome. And then his phone just died. I'm like, oh God. And then Coach Bates hit me up too, and he's like, call me or FaceTime me. So then I FaceTimed him and talked to Javis on there. And then later that day, because I had wrestling practice, we go to wrestling practice. I check my phone. I see he's just FaceTime me again because so like right as wrestling practice when we played dodgeball, I had to skip dodgeball so I could go FaceTime him. And he sent me kind of a questionnaire. And I don't remember what the question was specifically, but it really asked about what pushes you in football and what is your drive. And I talked about my faith. And I didn't know Chavis was a man of faith, but he loved it. And right off the bat, the connection was there. And then when I got home, I FaceTimed him with my parents for like 45 minutes, and then he let me know what I had to offer.
So
Incredible.
when did you know it was going to be Oklahoma for you? Was it when you visited? Is that what really solidified it for you?
Yeah, 100% the visit. I committed on the visit on Saturday night, I think.
Gotcha.
Yep.
What did you enjoy the most about Oklahoma? Because I'm just assuming maybe was that your first time ever in Oklahoma?
Number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah, I was at junior day, and then
Okay.
the spring game, and then for my official.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
So, I always got to ask, were you at any point, did you think, man, I kind of, I got some other schools maybe I might want to visit or anything. Maybe I hold off on this commitment because I know Venable's policy. I can't visit, once I commit. Or were you just like, you know what, let's shut it down. I don't even care to see another school. No other schools even exist as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much how it went. I was supposed to go to Oregon the next weekend, but I knew. I just knew.
Just knew.
We love to hear that. We love to hear that. So, obviously, they send out a certain amount of offers. They seem like a staff that offers are committable. I know a lot of staff send out like 300 offers, but it's like, okay, you got your offer. Now come camp. Now come meet, do this, that, and the other, and we'll tell you whether or not it's actually committable. Was there ever, a situation for you where it's like, I got to jump on this offer and commit? It was like, as far as a timeline goes, was there ever even a thought to you that, hey, I'm going to go ahead and wait until December or signing day or anything like that? Or were you like, hey, I want to lock this in now?
Yeah, they never put a timeline on me. And originally I wanted to do like all my officials. And then I was thinking about a date like July 8th or July 10th or something like that. But I mean, I just knew, and I'm just like, let's shut her down.
Oh man. What are you thinking that you want to major in? I know you got a full school year left, but
yeah, I don't got a full year because I'm
are you gonna early enroll?
I'm an early grad, but
boy,
I have no idea right now. I think I definitely want to get into some sort of coaching. I definitely want to coach ball. That's the goal. So whatever can get me to do that, I don't know.
Nice. Well, how about this? You come to Oklahoma. You have a nice long NFL career, and then you come back and you can coach DNs for us in like, I don't know, 2037 or something like that.
Yeah, that's the goal right there.
Go ahead and start filling out your application now. Just leave it with Joe C. so he can leave it to whoever just send it to Zach Selman. I'm sure by 2037 he'll be back home at his proper spot. We did have somebody ask strong side or weak side defensive end.
I mean, they don't really play it like that. They just kind of have like, I mean, you kind of just pick a side because they want the best players to like play. So if like the third best player is a weak side player and the number one strong side player gets out, then this guy's not gonna be able to like play. So they just, whoever's the best is gonna play. So they don't really have like a strong or weak side like that.
Gotcha. What you do, you gotta get on the field. That's good. Tell me a little bit about your family, man. Are you your only kid? You have siblings? Were your parents athletes? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my mom, she didn't play any sports in high school. My dad played college football, like I mentioned, and I have one older brother who he wrestles and plays football at a D3 college called St. John's in Minnesota.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you talk about you were wrestling practice, you said, right?
Yep.
So talk to me about what the coaches thought of you being a wrestler as well, and how important it is to be a multi-sport athlete in this day and age.
Yeah, I mean, it was my first year ever wrestling, and that right there alone, and like the success that I had in wrestling, the coaches, they all thought that took a ton of guts, and they all thought that was awesome. And being a multi-sport athlete, I do think it is really important because just lifting in the off season, like having a full off season like that and not playing a sport, isn't really gonna like give you the conditioning that you're gonna need. Wrestling practice, that is no joke. Like it ain't something to mess with.
Have you speaking of working out, have you been able to spend any time talking with Schmitty or even any of the current guys that are going through summer workouts? You looking forward to those?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him, but I've never really talked to Schmitty that much, but I know he's a dog. Like I'm prepared to get Schmitty built.
Oh man, that's gonna be a fun first meeting.
Yep.
That's awesome. let's go ahead and throw some chat questions in here, and we'll sprinkle in a couple more that we have. But the chat is chomping at the bit to talk to you. So TJC22 asks, how has wrestling helped you with football?
Yeah, so last year was my first year wrestling, so I haven't gotten to play a full season yet after wrestling, but I can tell with like my hips and my explosiveness, it's there, and I know my tackling is going to be a lot better.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and the conditioning too. That's going to be there too.
So you said you're 250, right?
Yeah.
So what's the weight class then that you would be in?
Yeah. So I wrestle heavyweight, and I was 240 when I wrestled, and heavyweight is 285. So I wrestled these kids who have to cut down to 285 and barely make it. So I mean, but that's like what I'm going to be doing in football. I'm going to be going against guys who are 285. So it's good to do it in wrestling too.
Yeesh. OU Navy for me says, have you thought about wrestling at OU? No.
Ain't that good? That has not crossed my mind.
No, so the early enrollee stuff, was that something that you had always planned on doing, kind of as you took your high school classes, planned out your high school classes, everything like that? Like, is that something you always planned on, or is that something that the coaching staff recommended?
So when I did my camp at Minnesota, that's when I got my Minnesota offer. And then Fleck, he told me about the early enrolling, and that's the first time that I've ever heard about it. Mm. And it was kind of a thought going through my sophomore year. And then it's like the goals that I want to play when I'm a freshman, like it's something I'm going to have to do. So right now I'm taking 2 summer classes so I can do that.
Wow.
What's the weather like up there today?
It was the worst rainstorm we've had all year.
Yeah, temperature-wise, though.
Oh, temperature? I mean, it was really nice. Like, I was at the lake. It was like maybe 85. And then you see the clouds getting a little weird looking, and next thing you know, it's just pouring.
Ooh, what lake do you go to?
I don't know. It's my friend's cabin. I'm not sure.
I got you. Stay away from those party boats on Lake Minnetonka. That's what got all the Vikings in trouble back in the day.
Yeah.
Stay away from those party barges.
Yeah.
But the chat is requesting a horns down, surely, for a screenshot. So
yeah.
There you go. Always good. Always good. I think that's good form. Yeah, I think most people hate Texas. Mom, I already asked him what lake he was at. He didn't know. Come on, keep up, Mom.
It was in Buffalo. I don't know what lake though.
What do you think? Are you afraid you're going to get homesick, farthest away? Did you ever expect that you would go this far away from your home to go to college? Or were you have you traveled a lot or anything like that? Always wanted to kind of get out of the house?
I mean, my dad just came up to me just because I can hear in the garage he's watching the stream. Yeah. So I never
What's
really.
your dad's name?
Jeff.
What's up, Jeff? Appreciate you tuning in. We'll take the extra viewer. So, who's the better athlete, you or your dad?
Me. He's still. Sometimes can push me around, but like 1% of the time.
Just 1%.
I got you. But yeah, so back to my original question about you kind of being a long way away from home. Is that something that you wanted to do, didn't want to do, had to be talked into? What do you think?
Yeah, I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do. It was just kind of like when I got all my offers, it's like I can go to Minnesota and stay home, or I can go far away. And the best place for me was Oklahoma. And I probably am going to get a little homesick, but I think everybody does, so it'll definitely be all right.
Yeah. What soldier, and obviously I'll let you answer this, and maybe if Jeff is in the comments he may want to answer himself, but what sold your parents on Oklahoma? Obviously, you made a decision, but as a family, when you guys talked, was there anything that made them feel comfortable about Oklahoma themselves?
I mean, they love the coaching staff, like Coach Bates and Venables and Chavis. They just love the coaching staff.
Mm. I hear that a lot.
Yeah, and just
hear that a lot.
Oklahoma, they love the campus. I mean, it's the total package. I couldn't think of one thing that I don't like about Oklahoma.
Mm. Now, do you like Brahms? Have you had Brahms?
Brahms?
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you what a Brahm is.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
So, it's a fast food joint here. That's David Stone tonight on Jaden Jackson's live feed of his commitment was giving his Brahms order out in the comments. Number 4 with a banana shake. They've got burgers and everything like that, but they're a heavy ice cream place too. So shakes, malts, all that kind of stuff. So even groceries, you can get your groceries there, fresh produce, dairy, all that kind of stuff. So yeah. So we've got Seth Ammerman says favorite Bible verse.
I like that question, Seth.
I'd say John 13:6. For you to not realize what you're doing now, but later you will understand. For you to not realize what I'm doing now, but later you will understand. And that's just talking about just having faith in God and knowing that His plan is going to follow through and everything will be all right.
Mm. It's good. I was wondering if it was going to be. I think you have a Proverbs 16 in your bio, but no, man, that's awesome. So a little background on me. I'm an athletic director at a Christian school up here in Indianapolis. That's where I live, and so that's something we talk about all the time is putting your life in God's hands and being able to translate that into athletics and saying, I'm still going to work my butt off every day and control what I can control. But, no matter what, my identity isn't found in my sport. Because if my identity is found in my sport, then my life's going to spiral when I have an injury or when I have a bad day or I don't get a sack or whatever else, right?
Yep.
And this as a D1 athlete, like, it's gonna be a lot of hard stuff that happens. You're gonna get pushed, and there's no guarantees that everything's gonna always work out. But as long as you have God at the center, right, then your life will be okay. So that's awesome. Like that.
I'm telling you, the vibes again, immaculate vibes today. My goodness,
for sure.
We witnessing in the on the pod. Jake Jackson committed.
I'm sorry, Captain. This made me laugh. I mean, what's the Minnesotan equivalent to Brahms? So like a custard burger type place.
I'd say Culver's. Do you guys got a Culver's down there?
I have a Culver's in Indianapolis.
Yeah, we don't have Culver's. Have
you never had Culver's, Trev?
I've never had it. They've got them in Branson where my folks are. I need to go there, but I've been trying to eat right, man. I got a peach right here. I'm it's like I'm a wrestler. I'm cutting weight, but no, the Steak and Shake, Dairy Queen up there. Imagine Dairy Queen if they had like a grocery section. That's what really sets Brahms apart. They've got great food, but they've got you can go get like a dozen eggs there too, like if you need it. Like you can't do that at typical fast food spots.
Yeah.
So what earlier in the chat somebody had said, what defensive ends do you watch and maybe emulate your game after?
Yeah. I'd say TJ Watt, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's probably my favorite just because he's just such a beast. He's just a freak. He's freaky. He's athletic. It's crazy.
Yeah, you and Nigel Smith. That was his favorite player too. But that's kind of be expected because he's down there in Texas, right? But Minnesota guys be watching Myles Garrett. But are you a big Vikings fan?
Yeah, 100%. They're my squad.
Thank God.
I was gonna be hurt if you weren't.
You got to go. You got to go take in some Brian Asamoah this year, and get that Skull U DNA if you want. But very cool. There was another one. I forget who. Now we started talking about food, and it's just buried.
Was it after the Bible verse question?
Oh, some recruits you're trying to bring on board, and who hosted you on your visit?
Yeah, so I mean, Stone and Nigel, though, I'm trying to get them to hop in.
How often do you talk to either one of those guys?
I mean, a couple times a week. I got their numbers.
Good. Who hosted you?
Host.
Say what?
R. Mason Thomas is my host.
Oh, nice.
R. Mason.
Yep.
He's gonna have a big year.
Yeah, he is.
What? How did he? I mean, Oklahoma. Just walking around can kind of sell itself, especially if you already had a good relationship with the coaches, or at least had started to have a good relationship with the coaches. What was he saying was some of his favorite parts about Oklahoma, why he chose Oklahoma, and kind of the secret sauce, if you will, to how productive he was early and maybe what's next for him?
Yeah, I mean, he's super productive because he's just so quick. And, he's so technical, too. Like, every time Chavis is showing me, a drill or something, it's him, every single time. And it's crazy. He's going to be a dog for sure.
Yeah,
somebody wants to ask, do you hear us Oklahomans having an accent?
Now that you mention it a little bit, do I got a Minnesotan accent?
There you go. You got the long O, don't you know? Yep. Got the long O. Oofta.
Yep.
Oofta. Let's see. Talking about, did you go? Well, yes, you went to the spring game. Talk to us about kind of your taking in the spring game, what you expected, how it was the same as what you expected, and maybe what surprised you about being at Oklahoma for the spring game.
I mean, how many people were there for a spring game? It was pretty insane. And back again, talking about R. Mason, he balled out at the spring game. I think he had 2 sacks. I think he was supposed to have 3, but they didn't quite count one of them. But yeah, the spring game, it was really fun to go to, just to get a preview of kind of what the atmosphere is going to be like there during a game day. Because that was just a spring game, and it was pretty fun.
Got somebody who's asking, have you had a roommate choice yet, or do you know who you're rooming with?
Yeah, I think I'm in a room with James Nesta.
Okay.
How'd you guys land on that decision?
I mean, we were on the same official visit at Miami. We were in the same official visit here, and it's just we're boys now.
And Miami fans down bad. Man, you, James, Jaden Jackson. Who did I mention earlier? There was somebody else. Oh, Devon Mitchell. Man, poor guys.
I was just in Miami. They'll be okay. I mean, they got the beaches and stuff. I mean, they got those views. So
that'd be all right. I thought you were going to say, who are you going to room with? David Stone, Williams Winery. I thought you were just going to drop a bomb on us about something, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll let you be coy for now. But very cool. So now people are slandering Miami in the chat. Perfect. This is going perfect. Sonic. Is anybody giving you flack for not playing in the Big Ten? Obviously, you're right in the heart of Big Ten country. Granted, I guess now being in the heart of Big Ten country isn't really a thing because Big Ten country is now Los Angeles all the way to New Brunswick, New Jersey. So I guess there's no really geographical footprint. But talk to us a little bit about that, and talk to us about playing in the SEC and if that was a factor at all.
Yeah, I did get a lot of hate for not staying home. A lot of fans were pretty upset, and a lot of people were telling me to go there. But the same thing happened with R. Mason because he was telling me about how everyone was telling him to go to Miami because he's from Florida. I think he's 20 minutes away from the campus, and his advice to me was just if you're not going to take advice from someone, their opinion doesn't matter. Like all the people like telling me that I should go to Minnesota and stuff, and everyone was just mad that I chose Oklahoma. You can't please everybody.
It's true. Good
Amen.
advice.
Amen.
Good advice. Don't listen to him. It's okay.
Okay. Yeah. What kind of weight you throwing up, man?
Yeah, I haven't maxed out anything in a long time. Last summer, my squat max was 485. Like 2 months ago, I benched 375, and then last summer I power cleaned 275. But when I power clean, I can't get down. Like I'm working on my flexibility right now. I caught it basically like standing up. It was fun. It was funny.
Just kind of casually threw in that he benches 375. I'm sorry. I was like, what?
What do you have any bench goals? You think you can hit 400?
Yeah, honestly, I might be able to do 400 right now. We're gonna max as like a team soon, and that's the goal right now is like 405 for sure.
When you max, you gotta have somebody take video and you gotta send it to us.
I got you, yeah. For sure.
Got you, because we gotta show Sooner Nation what they're getting.
Yep.
Because right now everybody's talking because Lewis Carter, one of our linebackers from Tampa, was a regular, not an early enrollee, but a standard time enrollee, if you will. They were talking at the media days today that he put up 350 6 times, but also I think he's like 215 pounds or something like that. So you got some beef on him. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, if you can do 400, I need to see video of it so we can start pumping that out.
Yep.
Is there anybody on your team, your high school team, that's also being recruited, or maybe that you think is maybe a little bit underrated?
Yeah, for sure. On my team, we have a guy who's committed to Wyoming right now, and then my neighbor, he literally lives down the street. He actually just Snapchatted me as I'm talking about him right now. He lives down the street, and right now he's got a PWO to Oklahoma.
Oh,
Interesting.
that is interesting.
Did he get that after you committed?
Technically, yes. Like when I like told the coaches I was committing, but like it was in between there when I posted my commitment.
Are you the one that turned the coaches onto him?
I definitely exposed him to them, for sure.
What position does he play?
He plays, I think he's being recruited for center, but he plays tackle and nose guard for us right now.
Okay.
What's his size like?
He's about 6'3", 295, I think.
Nice.
Nice.
Look at you putting your boys on. Look at that. Gotta love it. What's how's your team looking this year? Y'all gonna be any good?
Yeah. The last 2 years we lost in the state semifinals to the same team, and it was tragic. And last year our nemesis, crosstown rivals, they won the state championship. They got a nice little power T, wing T offense, nice little 1920s.
Oh wow.
Fun game. But yeah, we're gonna be really good. We're returning pretty much our whole defense except for I think 2 guys, and quarterback's coming back. All the receivers are coming back. Just our running back, he was really good, but he's not coming back.
Gotcha.
The wing T. There's 4 teams up here in Indianapolis that run that, but they mostly run it because they don't have the athletes to actually beat some of the bigger schools.
Yep.
And it's just interesting to see it come back.
Yeah, I'd hate to be a receiver on that team. That would suck.
You said what?
I'd hate to be a receiver on that team.
No touches.
Right.
Just blocking.
I always wondered how like Army recruited receivers. Like when they played us, I think they had some games where they didn't throw the ball, not a once.
Oh my gosh!
Like who goes to play receiver there? Like a pocket on a T-shirt.
That was probably one of the most frustrating games I've ever watched in my life. 2018 Army.
Yeah. How many OU Navy for me asks, how often do you play football games in the snow?
So sometimes like because we play at US Bank Stadium for the state games, like the semifinals and the championship games.
Mhm.
But right before that, usually the 2 games before that will usually be snow games, and they are tragic. Like I wear a long sleeve shirt, and the fingers are just dead. Even with gloves on, you even got like your hand warmers on. You got like the hot pocket things. There's nothing you can do when your hands are in the snow. It's just you just gotta be tough and get through it.
Jeez.
That's that Minnesota tough, though. It's built different.
It gotta be.
You have no choice.
Negative 20 up there. I'm okay.
Yeah.
My mom's asking what high school you're graduating from.
Yeah, Rogers High School.
Yeah, Mom, we went over this on the phone earlier. Remember? I even sent you a screenshot of the map of where he is and what towns are around it. Well, Mom, we'll talk later about it. Coldest game you've played in?
Coldest, I think. I don't really know, but I think low negatives probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not fun.
It ain't fun.
No.
Not fun at all, to be honest.
So I gotta ask. So what's your heritage? German? You said you were taking a German class. You Swedish, Norwegian, German.
Yeah. Oh, crap. I wish my brother was here because he loves that stuff. We did some sort of DNA test. I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but I think there was some German in there. Maybe I don't know. Something though.
What holiday meals? Do you have any Swedish meatballs? Do you have any lutefisk? Do you have any anything like that, or is it pretty standard American?
I mean, pretty standard American. If I go out of here, will it like kick me out? Because I could look at the DNA thing on here.
No, go ahead and look. I think it just maybe black out your screen for the most part.
I was gonna say if it does kick you out, just come back in and we'll get you back on.
Yeah, it's. Can you still hear us? No, he's looking at his.
He's looking. He's trying to let us know.
He's like, you got it, dude. Throwing up 400. He said it casually. Yeah, bench 375. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
I know. I was like, yeah, 375. I was like, oh.
I wonder what chat. You can help us out if anybody's heard what the big benches are on the team. Oh, Wyatt's back. So Wyatt, whoa? There we go. Hopefully nobody's watching, driving a car or anything, get car sick.
Could you
All
hear
right,
me?
so go ahead.
Could you hear me when I was reading them off?
No.
Oh, I said Scandinavian, French, German, something along those lines.
Hey, Scandinavian, exactly. Swedish and Norwegian. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. He said, he came back saying he's a Viking warrior, Viking, it's that. We got to get you you got to be playing in the snow and like a cutoff or something like that, man. Some sleeveless. You got to, it's more intimidating.
For sure. All our linemen, the linemen always do that up here. They put Vaseline all over their arms so it clogs the pores and they can't really, no sweat and heat can get out.
Oh my.
Well, you should do all the Vaseline. That way, when you go to a rush, they can't grab onto you at all. They can't. Everything's all slippery.
Yeah, but then the problem with that is I can't tackle them, and I'm a tight end too, so can't slip it out like that.
That's
funny. So playing both ways, JP.
I was just gonna ask, would you rather score, or do you like scoring a touchdown or getting a sack more?
Sack for sure. I've had my fair share of touchdowns in my life. I haven't had too many sacks yet.
Yeah.
Because I just started playing D-line when I was a sophomore.
Really?
I was a running back my whole life until I got a little too big.
You have a 6'4" running back. It's fine.
What's the biggest you've played at running back? Like height and weight?
Yeah. Last year I played some like fullback, but hand in the dirt fullback, but I never got any handoffs. I think I'll get some handoffs this year. But biggest I ever played, just 6'2", 185. And then when I was a sophomore, I was 6'3", about 215. And then that's when they cut it off because they knew it was going to get bigger than that.
They're like, "Yep, we see the way it's going," and I mean, at that growth rate, what do the doctors say? Do they say you're going to keep on getting bigger and bigger? What do you think you'll show up to campus at?
I don't know about height. I could get to like 6'5". I'm not too sure, but I think when I get on campus, I'll probably weigh 255. That sounds good. Because I don't want to get too heavy right now, like going into there, because I want them to, they'll put the right weight on me.
Indeed, they will.
Yeah, Schmitty will.
Yep.
You had Grayson Halton on here last week. He's going to be a sophomore. I'm sure you have heard or maybe met him, but he was just talking about how since he's been at OU, he's gained 30 good pounds, which is crazy. He went from 260 to 290, so they'll definitely get you right.
Although he's from California, and he was not he had not really been introduced to biscuits and gravy until he got to Oklahoma, and he's like, man, that's getting me right. It's getting me right. He's like, I have 3 biscuits with gravy and hot sauce and an omelet. Good to go. Did you talk to them any about kind of the nutrition area, meals, and everything like that?
Yeah, we went over. We met the nutritionist and everybody there.
Yeah. And this will be one of the last ones because I know we're over on time. We don't want to take too much of your time. But what's your favorite food that your mom makes? Favorite food, maybe kind of last meal type situation here.
Yep.
If you got to have one home cooked meal, what are the sides? What is the entree? All of it. Maybe a dessert. What are you feeling?
Just got to go with the old spaghetti and garlic bread.
Yep. Spaghetti and garlic bread. It's been a minute since I've had some spaghetti.
I'm a burger guy, though. Anywhere we go, I'm getting a burger.
Burger guy. Okay. What's your favorite burger that you would get in Minnesota?
I mean, just classic bacon cheeseburger.
Anywhere.
Throw some mayo on there, some ketchup, all the pickles. Yep.
Classic All-American. I like that. That's awesome. Well, Wyatt, man, it's been just a pleasure having you on. Thanks for popping on, and I know that you're trying to get out of that storm, so I appreciate you, getting here. Glad you were safe. That's the biggest piece for sure. But man, before we let you go, shout out, some socials, your Twitter, Instagram, etc. OU fans like to show love, so go ahead and check those out so they can follow you on there.
Yeah, so you guys can follow my Instagram, Wyatt.Gilmore, and then my Twitter, Wyatt Gilmore 9.
Wyatt.Gilmore and Wyatt Gilmore 9 on Twitter. That's awesome. Trav, you got anything, man?
No, man. Just great to have you on. Great to have you in the class. Love learning about you. The funniest part of Miguel and Coach following you and then FaceTiming you and his phone dies. Got to give him crap about that. I give him one of those portable chargers. But excited that you were the first one to send out the power line tweet. Obviously, that again has got the Twitter sleuths on top of it. But yeah, just appreciate you coming on. Look forward to come back anytime, man.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you guys.
100%, man. Well,
there you go.
Really quick, the last thing, I guess, Wyatt, for you, is there anything you'd like Sooner fans to know, as you're coming into Oklahoma?
I mean, all I got to say is horns down and Boomer Sooner. That's it.
Hey, that is a beautiful way
to
end it. Horns down and Boomer Sooner. We'll see you guys here next week, same time, 9 p.m. Central Time. Love y'all. Deuces.
See ya.